After years of support from federal tax breaks, are the district's wind and solar power industries ready to stand on their own? Hi, I'm Phil Davies, editor of Fed Gazette. The main article on our website takes an in-depth look at the sustainability of wind and solar power in the 9th District. Wind power has grown rapidly in Minnesota, North Dakota, and other district states over the past 2 decades. About 17% of electricity generated in Minnesota comes from wind turbines, like this 118-foot tall machine at Great River Energy in Maple Grove. In South Dakota, wind accounts for 25% of power produced in the state. The Federal Wind Production Tax Credit, or PTC, has been crucial to that growth. The credit offsets the cost of building wind farms, helping wind to compete with non-renewable forms of generation. As this chart shows, a similar tax break for solar energy has contributed to a big increase in photovoltaic systems in recent years, especially in Minnesota and Wisconsin. Congress extended both the PTC and the Solar Investment Tax Credit, or ITC, last December, but the PTC is slated to start phasing out in 2017, and the value of the ITC will drop by 2/3 by 2020. So the next 2 years are a time of testing for both technologies. Wind and solar developers can tap into other state-level financial incentives, and several district states require electric utilities to produce a minimum share of their power from renewable sources. But without the PTC and a much smaller ITC, wind and solar development could slow to a crawl, with fewer project starts and a drop in related economic activity. In the past, when Congress has let the PTC expire, wind farm development in the district has fallen sharply, as this chart shows. Ultimately, if wind and solar power are to continue to grow, they must be able to compete without subsidies with other types of generation, such as coal and gas burning power plants. Technological advances and increased economies of scale have steadily driven down the cost of electricity from the wind and the sun. For example, average installation costs for solar have fallen over 70% since 2006. But many utilities in the region still consider wind power too expensive without the PTC. And comparative studies of generation costs indicate that in this part of the country, the goal of independence from major subsidies is farther off for solar than it is for wind. The quest of the district's wind and solar industries to thrive without big tax breaks depends in large measure on continued efficiency gains at lower costs. The price of natural gas and government regulation, including potential restrictions on carbon emissions from power plants, will also shape the fortunes of wind and solar over the next decade. For much more on this topic, see the full article on the Fed Gazette website. An accompanying interactive map shows the expansion of wind farms in the country since the late 1990s. Thanks for watching and reading.